Good evening and welcome. Hello, everybody. How are you tonight? I hope you're doing well. Just had one of those days today. It's been a bit of a day, but we're here and that's good. And I'm glad to see that there are some people here already. I would like to shout out to the replay crew who will be watching later, hopefully. Leave a comment, have your say, let me know what you think. I will reply to your comments. And also, thank you very much if you're here live. Community is really important, and I'm hoping, particularly tonight, everybody will have a lot to say in the comments. And if, as always, you have any questions, either put the whole question in capital letters or put a capital QQQ at the beginning of your question, and then make it easier for me to pick it out of the lineup. Now today's been a bit of a day. There was an accident on the main road, which meant everybody in the whole of Northern Cornwall drove past my little tiny farm with its single track road, including all the lorries. It was quite a drama trying to get to the farm to feed the pigs this afternoon. I ended up parking up the road and walking down. I'm just going to check the chat very quickly and say hi to everybody that's in. And as always, Jay was in very early, Ecology today. Thank you, Jay, for everything you do, who has agreed again to be my show facilitator. Always appreciate all the hard work you do for us. Thank you so much. And Kirsty, Hearts Humble Homestead, is in as well. And there is Jay's handle, Ecology Today. And Rob's Attic is in. Hi, Rob. Nice to see you in today. There's a bit of a theme, both Kirsty and Rob and their live on their I'll try again. I'll start again. On their videos have been showing all the planting and sowing they're doing. Rob primarily in his attic, but Kirsty's got some things out in the garden as well. Hi, Eddie. Nice to see you in. And Eddie's working hard on getting his garden going. It's that time of year. It's all very exciting. And I think that's everybody that's in at the moment. So the idea today is that it's a gentle reminder to all of us that are old hands at gardening. So to just bear in mind and think about all the pests we might deal with this summer. And I was thinking about it because I was listening to Danny from Grow Up, and he seems to think that because of the rain, and he's probably right, that there is going to be a slug gate, that the heavens are going to open and we're going to have a lot of slugs to deal with this year, which made me think, well, that's not the only pest we have to deal with. So let's get ahead of the game. So I've certainly, even in researching this, learned a few things. And so maybe you'll learn some new hints and tips. If you have any strategies or hints and tips that work particularly well for you, pop them in the chat. We'll have a discussion around those as well. But this is the sad scenario that sometimes happens. So you ever come out into your garden excited to harvest, only to find your plants look like they've been through war? It's frustrating. And I struggle. My hardest battle is always fought with the cabbage white. Now, one way to deal with it is to embrace the nature tax. So some damage is normal. If we're not going to chemically treat everything and kill every bug off, then we're going to lose a small amount of our crops. And it's normal and it's okay. What I thought we'd talk about, first of all, is prevention of pests arriving in your garden to start with. So there are some several strategies, and you guys will all be aware of this, but soil health, making sure your plants have the nutrition they need and the soil is full of beneficial microbial life. And that means basically making compost and keep adding fertility to that soil, keep adding nutrients to that soil, keep adding biodiversity with them, all the microbial life and beneficial things that you can have in your soil. That is number one, because as we all know, stress plants are pest magnets. So the other things we can do to make sure that those plants aren't stressed, as well as the good soil, is proper watering, make sure they have the right amount of light, make sure that the soil is really well mulched and nutrient rich, and that will enable our plants to be really strong and robust. As soon as a plant is struggling a little bit, it releases a chemical that actually attracts pests that will come and attack it, because they can smell this scent that the plants put out when they're not healthy. So that's a good way. Another strategy is biodiversity. So rather than growing all your plants in one spot, mix in herbs and flowers and different scented things, and that will confuse pests. And also by breaking up, so if you get pests on one patch of carrots, I'm thinking of the carrot root fly, if you have another patch of carrots, then you are less likely to have both sets attacked. So that's another strategy to move and have various different places you plant the same crops, so that if you lose one lot, you don't lose them all. The other thing, especially with carrots, when you pull them, the scent of the carrot carries and will attract the carrot root fly. So by having small patches of them, you can also just harvest those ones, and then if you harvest all of those at the same time, then the cabbage root fly will be attracted to that spot, but there won't be any carrots there, and then your other carrots in the garden will be safe, hopefully. And then we've got companion planting. So we have specific plants that repel nematodes and aphids, and also hide the scent of tasty plants. So things like marigolds are really good for repelling things, and I think a lot of us plant marigolds absolutely everywhere. And again, to keep the plants healthy, creating space for airflow. So it's really tempting to pack a lot into a small space, and you can at different heights. So I might have something that creeps along the ground and then something taller planted amongst it, but allowing there gaps between plants for the air to pass through and reducing any molds or powdery mildew. And that then also creates a healthier environment, stronger plants, better root systems, and then that doesn't give you unhealthy plants that might attract pests. The physical barriers, and this is the one I always fail at. So I have row covers, I have cloches, and I have nets, and somehow those darned cabbage whites always get inside. It doesn't matter how well I peg it down, put stones around the edge, double net, they always get in somehow. So I'm going to have to be really up my game on that this year. And the other one, of course, is garden hygiene. So clearing away anything dead or diseased and any weeds, and remove hiding spots for pests like slugs. So that's good. I'm going to check back in the comments and see if anybody has added any new things to the list that I had. I think everybody's just saying hi. So let me see who is here. Everybody's saying hello. Planting seeds just turned into a good afternoon. Tuned in, good afternoon. Hi, nice to see you in. David, I made it. Yay, Triple G. Greetings, Global Gardeners. Nice to see you here, David. Oh, what happened there? Something disappeared. Hi, Sean. Nice to see you in as well. And David is catching up. He's playing at 1.5 times the speed, so I'll be very quick and squeaky in his ear at the moment. And Mrs. Bowtie has been busy. She's taking on a bigger role on David's channel, Bowtie Life in the Garden, and taking over some of the essential roles to make sure things happen on time. Let's see, who else have we got? Yes. In your recent short with the pumpkin fries, is there a best way of pumpkin for the fry? Is there a best variety of pumpkin for the fries? I've never made them before, Eddie, but I am using Donald Trumpkin, the pumpkin, and I am really sorry. I cannot even tell you what variety he is because he came in a dodgy seed packet, and I thought, I'll grow them for fodder for the pigs. And they turned out to be quite tasty. And all it said was traditional jack-o'-lantern, ideal for carving, medium to small pumpkin. Well, I got a giant pumpkin. He's very tasty, but no idea. I have saved seeds from him. So if anybody wants some, hit me up. I can post them to you. I don't think they will have cross-pollinated because the fruit set before anything else flowered. But there are, of course, neighbours who might have grown squash. And yes, David does love biodiversity. I think it speaks to you, the fact that it's so crazy and mixed up together. I think the craziness of it speaks to you, David. Who else have we got? Sean has been getting his carrots ready for his championship carrots. So he's got a sand bed and he's been coring it out and filling the cords with compost, and he's finished it. And Kirsty is hoping to see Sean's carrots. It's going to be a while before they're grown, but it will be very nice to see those. And David's saying, I was clearing dead leaves today, came across my third turtle in about 11 days' time. Wow. Hi Mo, nice to see you in. We're talking about garden pests, our favourite subject. Okay, I think I'm caught up. So I'm going to move on to the main part of my subject, which is encouraging beneficial predators into your garden by planting nectar-rich flowers like dill, fennel, coriander and yarrow, and those are just a few. And that is my main strategy. I always get really excited if I see aphids really early in the year. I know that's the first food source for my ladybugs. And my ladybugs are going to come and have a feast, and they're going to lay eggs, which are going to become larvae who are going to eat even more aphids. As long as I get my aphids really early in the year, I feel really happy. Crazy, because usually most people tut and get upset when they see aphids, but if I see them early enough, I get quite excited. I always know it's going to be a really good ladybug year if I do that. How do we get those beneficial insects and wildlife? By maintaining habitats for them, so mulch or ponds, and that help keep populations high. This winter I've had piles of sticks and logs of different sizes. I've left things like the sunflower stalks I've cut into lengths and left them on the ground so things can live inside them during the winters, so they can overwinter and come back. We also have created a little pond, so I'm hoping, I have seen toads and I have seen newts on the land, not in my pond yet. And I have also seen dragonflies. At the end of the season, they started coming over to use the pond as well. So that's really useful. And a lot of these you all know, but here we go. Ladybird, both larvae and adults consume huge quantities of aphids, mites and scale insects. So I have got Oh, no, hang on. I've got to screen share first before I can show you that. Ladybirds. There we go. There we go. So we have ladybugs there. And did I have a picture of the... I don't think I have a picture of... the larvae. No. But there is a map of where they are prevalent, which is everywhere apart from where it's too cold. Okay. I thought I had a picture of one of their... No, I've just got various different pictures of the ladybug. Okay. So they are absolutely fantastic at eating the aphids. That's the biggest thing they do for me. They may well eat mites and scale insects, but I've never seen them. But then I've always got a lot of ladybugs, so maybe that's why I've never seen them before. And another thing are hoverflies. And I've also seen, I know we talked about some of the plants they like, but they really like Phacelia. I've seen a lot of them floating around on the Phacelia. So hoverflies and their maggot-like larvae are among the most important predators for aphid control. And I have got some pictures of some hoverflies also. Let me see what I can do. I think I can. Ooh, no. I have to, there we go. I have to stop sharing that screen before I can share the next screen. There we go. So here is our little hoverfly. It's got wasp-like colours, but the way to tell it's a hoverfly is it will be able to stay very stationary in the air and it will hover above flowers, and you're able then to see that it is a hoverfly. Oh, hang on, I didn't add it to the stage. There we go. So there we go. So the hoverfly and their larvae will eat aphids, which is great fun. Now the next one you might not like the idea of so much, but spiders. And they are essential for controlling a wide variety of pests, including caterpillars, leafhoppers, and beetles. And I can reliably say fungus gnats. I just had 15 tons of compost arrive and clouds of fungus gnats. They were like a plume that flew up. And I was like, oh, goodness me, that's going to be a problem. But the whole of that compost heap, all 15 tons, was covered in spider webs in the morning. And I'm fairly sure I don't have fungus gnats there anymore. I'm going to quickly pop back into the chat and see how we're getting on, because I notice there's a lot of chat and I have not kept up with it. And see what people are saying. Let's have a look. Jay is asking Sean what made his carrot bed ridiculous. I think it was just how much hard work it was to make. There you go. Sean's saying, Rob, 3 types select seeds, extra long carrot, James Scarlet intermediate carrots, and sweet candle selected carrots. Oh, so must be talking to Rob about the varieties of carrots he's growing for his giant carrots. And Bowtie David is asking, how long a carrot are you going for this year? Now, David at Bowtie Life is planning on growing 1 giant vegetable in each section of his garden this year. That'll be interesting to see. There are lots of sections in his garden. Yes, that's why I said it just took Sean a really long time to get it prepared. And there Rob's answering. Sean saying, sounds good variety there, mate. We're not so keen on sweet candle though. I've not tried sweet candle before. I'm a stickler for carrots. I like the ones I like the Cantonais, and I like the Autumn King, the reliable ones. I would like a 2-foot plus if I can. Here's hoping anyway. That's why it was so hard coring out that sandbox. Here we go. I like keeping plants that will be cut back soon. Cut them back late, or just leave the cuttings laying around for those habitats. Yep. So ground cover is great for habitats for the bugs. Let's say I left the stalks from the sunflowers up so things could overwinter in them. Rob's saying, I saw a cabbage white in the garden the other day. Somebody else mentioned that they'd seen a cabbage white. I think that was Stella. I said she's growing some short, like rapid growing cabbages that only take a few days to maturity. I think it was 50 days. And I said, maybe you'll get in before the cabbage whites. And she goes, nope, I saw one the other day. And then Sean's saying, I thought it'd be good to get back into garden shows after 30 years, but everything takes longer now. That's our age. Happens to us all. Lots of bumblebees here, Joe, when the sun comes out. I saw some today on my dandelions. And again, a lot of the bees are predatory, especially the wasps. And Kirsty did her show last year. One ladybug I have not seen. It's all metallic shine. We've got all sorts, yellow, orange, and multi-spotted, multi-blotted. Yeah, they come in a lot of varieties, ladybugs. I've seen. Oh, welcome, by the way, Wicker Shell Project. I'm sorry, I haven't said hello to you. Hi. There we go. Yes, hoverflies. Harmless garden allies act both pollinators and voracious predators of aphids. Adults resemble small bees or wasps and hover around flowers, which is how you tell the difference between those and a wasp. Wasps don't tend to hover over the flowers. While their larvae eat hundreds of aphids, attract them with nectar-rich flowers, Gossylium, calendula, and herbs. There are so many flowers that attract them. Now saying, ask ChatGPT about companion planting for zucchini, 3 to 4 foot apart marigolds, 2 to 12 in away nasturtiums, 12 to 18 in away beans, 18 to 24 in away. Inches away, that must be, sorry. So yeah, 10 to 12 inches, 12 to 18 inches, and 18 to 24 inches away. Okay. So companion planting for zucchini, marigolds. Marigolds are companion planting for everything. Nasturtium are also very good companion plants. There. Beautiful hoverfly. Take photos of those. I try and take photos of most of the interesting bugs that visit my farm. I did a video last year called oh gosh, what was it called? The mini safari on Muddy Puddles farm or something like that. It was in the summer, and it was all about the beetles and the bugs and the spiders and things that I found on the farm. And at the time that I was down trying to take little videos, the wolf spider, the females, were all carrying sacks of eggs and between their back legs, and I got some footage of that, which I was quite proud of. And there are some things on there that I didn't know the names of. I had to look them up, and some of them I couldn't find. So David's saying hi to Bill at the Wickershire Project. I didn't know your name, so hi Bill. Nice to put a name to the face. I'm going to write that down so I remember it. Your compost mountain is one to be jealous of. So I had 15 tons arrive, 15 tons of compost on the back of a great big lorry, and he dropped it, and then my gate wouldn't close, and I have spent 3 days shoveling and shoveling so that I can close my gate. And just in time, because Kevin escaped today. And for those of you who don't know, Kevin is a very large, very belligerent pig. There we go. Garden spiders, primarily. I'm not even going to try and say that. Are large beneficial orb weavers found in North America, recognized by their bright yellow and black markings and zigzag stabilimentum web patterns. I don't know if I said that right. Yes, we get little tunnel spiders here, trap spiders that have that make little tunnels and have flaps over them and pounce out on their prey. They're quite interested. Who's got massive compost on watch? My truck bed's empty. There we go. And most spiders are non-aggressive, with venom harmless to humans, highly effective as pest control, consuming flies, mosquitoes, and aphids. And there are some that are but just don't have the ability to bite. There we go. Sean's hoping for his really long carrots. 2 foot long is going to be enormous. And Bill from the Wickershire Project is saying, we haven't had any successful carrots in 4 years since co-op. I detest my clay soil. I love my clay soil, but it takes a lot of amending. I do understand what you're saying. It can be tricky. Oh, Joe, don't commit to me to one large veg in every bed. That's 25. I said every area in your garden, because you do like a north, south. You do all your different areas. I was thinking you were going to go with, I thought you were going to go with like one big thing in your side garden and one big thing in your back garden, etc. I wasn't thinking every single bed, David. But I would like you to grow 25 really large veg. That would be nice to see. But I wasn't thinking that. How about growing a giant loofah? There we go. You could probably do that, David. Giant loofah. We got there. It's it's Cantonais. I was pronouncing that carrot species with a horrible French accent. Cantonais. Okay. I call them Cantonais. I don't know if I'm correct. I'm not beyond getting the names of things wrong. And I noticed Jay's putting up links to other people's channels. That's really helpful. Hi Mel, nice to see you here. We're talking about garden pests today. Let me see. I'm going to scout through this really quickly because it's a big subject, this pests business. There we go. That's the one I was talking about. Muddy Puddles Farm, Mini Safari, Micro Wildlife and Muddy Puddles Farm. That's where I went round for the day and shot pictures and video of all the beasts and bugs. And hi, nice to see you in, Stella. Nice to have you here. We're talking about getting prepared for all the pests that might come. I would escape again. He knows how to escape. He buries the wires from the electric fence. And then when I'm not looking, he escapes. There's lots of amusing chat here. I'm not going to go through all of it, but I'm going to go back to what we were talking about. Now, where did we get to? Spiders. Here we go. Lacewings. Now, I didn't find pictures of lacewings, but they're very graceful little beetles, and they have transparent wings, and you can see little black veins in them, and they are very pretty. But they, again, everything seems to want to eat aphids, so it's just as well sometimes there are quite a few of them. But they can be a real pest if you get aphids. Aphids and ants together, that's a nightmare because the ants protect the aphids. I found chickens to be very effective at dealing with the ants, not so much for the aphids, but that then allows the other creatures that eat the aphids to come in once the ants are out of the way. Now, ground beetles. I hadn't really thought about beetles as being helpful. I knew that they weren't harmful in the most part, but I did not know that ground beetles eat slugs and snails and caterpillars. And I was like, oh, what does a ground beetle look like? I don't think we have those. Oh, hang on. I've got to share the screen first, otherwise you can't see it. Ground beetles. Where are you? Ground beetles, there you are. Found you. There you go. And these are ground beetles. And I have loads of these on the farm, and I didn't even know what they were. But they are voracious hunters, and they feed on slugs and snails and caterpillars. So maybe that's why I didn't have. I know we had dry weather this year in England, in the UK, but maybe that's why I didn't see any slugs at all, because I had a lot of these little guys floating around. So that's useful to know. That's something I learnt today. And then there is also something called a rove beetle, and I'm going to pop one of those on the screen as well so you can have a little look. And again, when I spotted it and saw what it looked like, I was like, oh, I know what that is. Oh, we've got an advert up in the wrong place. I've seen some of those. And, oh, hang on. So they are found all throughout the world here. So they are in America as well as the UK and Australia, all over. They're very prevalent. And they look like that. And I also have, go away, adverts. I also have those on the farm. So that's good. And they like to feed on aphids and fungus gnats and thrips. And thrips and fungus gnats are great because of all the lists of all the predators out there, there aren't very many things that eat the fungus gnats and the thrips. Apart from, I'm fairly sure that mine have been dealt with the spiders. I did take some footage of all the spiders' webs. It was quite incredible. They were kind of all over the next day. So I don't know if they were taking advantage of the feast of all the fungus gnats or the warmth that was still coming off the compost because it's a bit fresh. But either way, I was quite pleased they were there. Right, let's take you off the screen. And of course, as always, birds consume a vast number of caterpillars and beetles. So that's always really useful. We're now talking about things that aren't insects anymore. So it's always good to encourage the birds, and then that's coming down to providing them habitat, safe places to nest, safe places to come and take a bath or drink. I have more provision to be able to provide habitat for my hedgerows, but you can put bird boxes up and bird feeders and bird baths and things in smaller gardens as well. And the great one, hedgehogs. Hedgehogs feed on slugs and snails and beetles. They will eat quite large things, actually. I've discovered one eating a baby chick once, which which was not pleasant. Mama hen was not happy about it, but she'd snuck off and hidden under a bush, made a nest. And the hedgehog obviously was hungry. But they eat vast amounts of slugs and snails. In my last garden, I had 7 resident hedgehogs at least, last count. They kept having babies, and they were just really prolific. And you could see, because the slugs were also prolific, and they'll come out on the lawn, and you could see the path where the hedgehog had walked around the lawn, because everywhere it had walked, there was, like, to either side of it, you could see the little tracks either side of it, you could see it had eaten the slugs. And then the rest of the lawn was a carpet of slugs, which was very nice. So hedgehogs are definitely a great thing to encourage. Frogs and toads, again, they eat a variety of insects, and they're also happy to eat slugs. And I know I've got toads on my farm because I found one in my compost, and I built him a little bathtub-pond to help hopefully keep him there. They're really useful in the gardens too. And I haven't mentioned it on here, but quite a lot of the birds that I keep are useful. So ducks will eat slugs, chickens will eat ants and different things. Chickens, you have to be a bit careful because they'll also eat your cabbage. So chickens are best run over a bed that's finished, that you want to clear of pests ready before you plant the next crop, rather than let them in amongst any of your vegetables. And here's one I hadn't even thought of. This was bats reducing mosquito and other flying insect populations. I hadn't even thought about bats being beneficial predatory species, but I guess, yeah, they take a lot of things out of the air, so any sort of gnat or fly they will have, which is really useful. Right, I'm popping back onto the comments because I've missed a lot. Oh, hang on, let's take that one down and have a look and see what people are saying. Oh, my chat's gone really weird. Hang on. Right, no, my chat's has gone very strange. Right, let's see. Oh, no, I've clicked on the wrong one. It's moved. But Shawnee's in. Hi, Shaw. Oh, there we go. Beneficial predators unite. Yay. Definitely, Shawnee. Yeah. Nice to see you in. My screen is really hard to see because it's just made everything into really weird blocks. It's not where it's supposed to be. It's very strange. Hey, yeah. There. Sojo, Muddy Puddles Farm. I will be a big surly pig too if I was told I was on the menu for this year. He loves me. He loves me. I made the mistake today of arriving at the farm, and I know he does this. He buries the electric fence. He piles dirt up until he's covered it. And if I go straight down to see him, because he's only waiting for me to arrive, if I go straight down to see him, he comes running up to me. I say hi, run round and unbury the fence quickly while he's distracted with the food I've given him or the belly rub or whatever it is that he's after. And then it's all fine. But I thought I'd arrived a bit early. I thought, you know what, I'm just going to very quickly put some things in the shed and then I'll go over. And I must have made more noise than I thought. He must have heard me or seen me. And I was just walking across by the lovely new vegetable plot that I've spent 3 days making beautiful, which will be in my next video. And he came charging across the field and straight through 2 of the brand new, freshly dressed vegetable beds, charged right through it. And he missed my seed sowing by about 8 inches. So, yeah, and he just wanted to see me, and he just walked back and was as good as gold, but he has made a bit of a mess in the vegetable garden, so Okay, Jay has put some information up there. Lacewing larvae, often called aphid lions, are highly effective predatory insects measuring with alligator-like bodies, brown and white mottled colouring, and large sickle-shaped mandibles. Yes, that's the one I didn't have the picture of. They are voracious predators of aphids, mites, whiteflies, small caterpillars, and consuming over 200 pests per week. Is that what we call rain beetles? I don't know. I don't know if that's what we call rain beetles. Maybe, I don't know. Ground beetles are highly beneficial nocturnal garden predators that eat slugs, snails, caterpillars, aphids, root maggots, and acting as natural pest control. I mean, ground beetles, I have so many of them, and I never knew they were so helpful. I'm glad I've never squashed any. I'm very against squashing things, so I'm glad. I did wonder what they ate. They're typically dark, shiny, fast-moving, hiding under mulch, rocks, debris during the day. They do not harm plants, and they are a sign of healthy, chemical-free ecosystem. And bowtie life. I have tons of beetles in my ground. When I kneel down to dig something, lizards will literally gather around me and throw them beetly treats as I work. Symbiosis is hard at work. So you need to check, Dave, whether any of those beetles you've got eat slugs, because I'd keep those. There we go. And again, there's a theme with these beetles. They prey at night. So the rove beetles are highly beneficial nocturnal predators in gardens that control pests like aphids, mites, larvae, and small caterpillars, recognised by their long, slender bodies and short wing covers. They often lift abdomens like scorpions when threatened. They inhabit moist soil, leaf litter, and compost, rarely causing harm to plants. All of the websites that I have gone to for the information and the pictures of the insects are all referenced, so you can check and have a look at those in the description of the video, so if you want to go and have a look at those later. And yes, one of them is National Geographic for kids, because that's kind of that's my intellectual level. What about this couple of creatures called rats? Oh, I haven't covered rats. I should have. Good hunting cat, a good mouser. I wish we had hedgehogs. They're so adorable. Just the cuteness would earn them several dedicated times my property if we had them. Oh, are they not in? They're probably not an American things. Frogs and toads freak me out. Oh, Stella, I love frogs and toads. I love them. So Bill from the Wickershire Project is offering to send David some Trimble rattlers. Free to good home. And Eddie is saying that his neighbour has chickens. He has no interest in keeping them put up. They've already taken out 4 pots of my carrots and 30 cabbage starts I was hiding off. Yes, so they will. As I say, the chickens are very much best kept to going over old ground. So once you've cut cabbages, I always, when I grow things like cauliflowers, cut the heart out of the cauliflower and leave the outside leaves. The chickens will come in and they will eat the outside leaves, and they'll peck down into the core where the roots go down, and they will scratch up all the ground and they'll manure it, and they will eat any pests, but only on ground that I've finished and harvested. And then from there I move them off and then replant. A lot of people say, oh, have chickens in your garden, but roaming around your garden, they eat all the things that we like to eat, which is a nuisance because they get there quicker than us. So David is saying, oh, Bill, we did timber rattlers back in Arkansas. Some egghead swapped a herd of deer for timber rattlers a few decades ago. We got the bad end of that deal. Okay. Rob's at it. We have loads of small bats around our way. I've seen the odd bat at the farm, but to be honest, I'm not very often there at dusk. But I know they live in the woods at the bottom. Issue is my chickens understand the pots we grow in are food bowls in chicken language. They watch teeth go in and learn. That's true. They are quite smart. There we go. And Bill is saying, Rob, we also have bats. They should be out by now in the evenings here as the mosquito population is blooming. Yeah, I did see one a couple of weeks ago. There we go. And Jay is saying, bats are highly beneficial visitors to garden action as natural pest control by eating hundreds of mosquitoes, moths, and beetles nightly. Attract them, create a bat-friendly environment. You can put up bat boxes, which are they're slim, and they have slats cut into the backboard so they can hang from them, and the opening is from the bottom. They fly up through the bottom into the bat boxes. And you can find bat box designs online if you Google. They tell you all the dimensions and sizes that you need. I'm going to try and whiz through this because we are you are just egging me on to eat him. Yeah, Kevin does run to me. He was a bit surprised when I went no and yelled in his face. I was very upset about my poor vegetable plot. He's saying, a few days ago I heard a very loud bang, one chicken fell over and wouldn't get up. My neighbour had a fit with me, but it still hasn't TP'd it to the rest up. Okay. Something frightened the chicken to death. And to attract and support hedgehogs in your garden, create wildlife-friendly habitat by leaving patches, wild patches, log piles for shelter, ensuring access between gardens via hedgehog highways. Exactly how to do it. Right, I'm going to squiz through these very, very quickly. So I did add a video of our done by Rats So Adorable next to the vids descending just for you. Change of mind. Oh no, I'm not keen on rats. Excuse me. Our chickens will not touch hornworms. It's more of a, okay, you eat one first, then we'll think about it. Yeah, they're not keen on those. Sean has seen lots of bats out today. Yeah, and cats, they'll keep the vermin away. The neighbours' cats come over to my farm quite a lot. That's useful. I've got a little bird of prey, and he swoops down and gets the odd mouse now and then as well, so that keeps them on their toes. Oh, there's so much chat today, guys. You're all busy in the chat. And now saying, got foxes and cats on the site, but rats still affect us. Oh, lots of holes from them. It's not good. Rats are a real problem. I haven't really got a solution from them except for wire meshing around everything important. We got there. Oh, hang on. There's first bit to that. There we go. There we go. Build a 24-inch tall multi-chamber bat house using untreated cedar or plywood, 3/4 inch thick and roughened interior surfaces for grip. Assemble the exterior screws and caulking to seal seams. There we go. It depends on the type of bat as to how big you you build them. Paint the exterior black water base to retain heat and mount 10 to 15 feet high on a pole or building fence facing south-southeast, preferably near water. The idea eventually will be to build a lot of bat boxes and bird boxes and even an owl box to go in the woodland when my trees eventually get big enough. My issue with bat boxes I could make is, my issue with any bat boxes I could make is the paper wasps will find them more attractive first. Oh, that's a bit of a pain. We were talking about that with Jay the other day. She has had problems with wasps taking over not so well used gardens in their community. So if you feed hedgehogs outside the door here, then the feral cat's turned up. Took me 3 years to get him tame. Best cat we ever had. For me to attract hedgehogs to my garden would involve plane tickets too. I could ship a case of them. I don't know how well they do in the States. Thank you, Stella, for encouraging people to hit the like. So I had a sparrowhawk taking birds, but moved the bird feeder in line with the hedge. That stuffed them up, no line of flight right through. So I've got a small bird of prey, and my husband thinks it's a sparrowhawk, but it definitely sits on the telegraph wires or hovers and swoops down and gets mice. And as it's going back to its nest, the crows harangue it all the way, trying to steal its catch. And I think it's some sort of small kestrel. I don't think it's a sparrowhawk. I've never seen it hunt any of the little birds, and we have plenty of them on the farm. We live at the coast, surrounded by coastal murky waters. We have rats as big as cats that are afraid of them. I've seen a rat fend off 5 cats at once. Or we had a good mouse and cat when I was a child, and it would catch rats as big as itself. It used to have to, because they hold them by the back of the scruff of the neck, the rat, once it caught it, and it used to have to hold its head up like this so that it didn't trip over the rat, and it used to trail underneath it. It was quite disgusting to watch, but it was a really good. You want an alley cat. You want a proper feral street cat. Deter rats from the garden by eliminating food sources, birdseed, fallen fruit, pet food, and removing hiding spots like tall grass, wood piles, debris, using closed metal compost bins and wire mesh. So that is the only thing I found that stops them, is the wire mesh and the metal bins. They get through, and the clearing up the food, it's tricky because you want to compost, but to compost then you've got food scraps, haven't you? And again, having chickens is always chicken food about, and you have to be careful how you keep that. Bow tie, you've got a porcupine over there. They're just giant hedgehogs. I like that. Okay, so we've talked about all the predatory species that I can think of. I'm sure you have more that you can think of too. So we're going to move on to the next little bit. I'm going to try and speed this up because we're going to run out of time otherwise. So we've got biofumigants. So if you've already got things in your garden, one of the things might be root knot nematodes or other pests or diseases in the soil. So anything biofumigant will cleanse that. So it's best to research your own particular situation if you have a problem with that. But primarily brassicas like mustard. I use a lot of mustard to clean ground up. If I've had something in that might be a little bit allelopathic and then I'm following it with something else, I will sometimes put a mustard crop in between. But your oilseed radish, canola, and they all act as natural eco-friendly soil disinfectants to manage pests, diseases and weeds when chopped and incorporated. And that's the crucial part of it. You grow it, and I've never had a real problem. I've just sometimes put them in as an in case in between things. But you have to chop it up and you have to incorporate it into soil. You have to dig it in. You can't leave it as chop and drop, and you can't just grow it and clear it away. You have to incorporate the leaves and all the things that are in the leaves to break down in the soil. And sometimes if you've got a real pest problem, you have to do it multiple times as well. But that's a really good way to get your soil cleaned up. Aphids, again, if you've got aphids and you haven't had your ladybugs come in, a blast from a garden hose will knock them off and kill them. But again, that's only so effective because some plants are a bit delicate and you blast them with your hose and you lose your plant as well. No, I don't have such a problem with slugs and snails here. In my last garden, they were a problem. I find beer traps really disgusting because you have to keep cleaning them out and you have to keep wasting beer. And you have to keep going out at night with your flashlight. And I've put on there, I've added on the end all snips. And what I used to do was have a pair of what I called my garden slug scissors, and they were hanging on a hook in my back garden. And I would just snip all the slugs in half because we had such a wide abundance of hedgehogs. I didn't want to use slug pellets, even the hedgehog friendly ones, because I didn't want to harm the hedgehogs in any way. So I would snip them in half, and I figured that way it left the food source for them. And actually what I tend to find is I'd snip them all and then I'd come back and then other slugs come to eat the slugs that I'd snipped, and then I'll get another bunch. It's really disgusting, but I didn't have to touch them and I didn't have to clear out beer traps, and it was quite effective. Without the snipping, I wouldn't have been able to grow anything. There we go. But caterpillars, hand picking is best. So it's best to not get caterpillars. It's best to have the cloches and row covers and all that in place and not get them in the first place. But should you get them, it's best to wear gloves, pick them off and pop them in a bucket of soapy water because they won't survive that. That's not good for them. But yeah, best to not get them. And then spider mites. So 2 tablespoons of mild dish soap into 1 litre of warm water and spray on the plants, especially under the leaves, to suffocate soft-bodied insects like spider mites. And the one thing I will say about this is it's an absolute last resort, because you won't just be killing any spider mites, you'll be also killing any beneficial insects that are there too. So you need to be aware of that if you're going to use anything like dish soap in your garden, it's highly lethal to all insects. I was discussing with Jay how to rid yourself of in-ground nests of wasps, and as a beekeeper, if we had a really aggressive hive and it wasn't possible to go into that hive and remove the queen and replace it with another queen because they were too aggressive, it's too dangerous, you would have to euthanize the colony. And the traditional method of doing that is to pour dishwater, so some soapy water on them, and it will kill the hive really, really quickly. So it's a potent killer of insects, so you need to be aware of that if that's what you choose to do. Neem oil is a great natural organic option to disrupt the life cycle of pests, and I've used neem oil and I've used neem pellets in the past to treat different things, mostly fungus gnats, with different levels of success. I would say you have to use fresh and you have to keep doing it, is what I found. And that, I'm at the end. I'm going to go back to the comments very, very quickly. See what I've missed. Oh, hang on. We've got there. Anyone need advice for a particular pest? Maybe the community will help. Sounds a lot like some best cat when you encounter baby kangaroo. Oh my gosh, I've missed so much. Oh yes, because that was about the referencing the porcupine being a giant hedgehog. The other cat I tried to tame was a real old-looking cat, and he had big white cheeks and whiskers. There, we have a few two-legged vermin in our allotment site. Rob, what thing to say? Although saying that, there are a lot of allotment thefts at the moment, so I can understand that. I'm going to skip some of it because I want to get down to the end. So I hunted ladybirds and I took them to the aphid buffet and was amazing to watch them eat through them. Yeah, that is true. You can get ladybirds through the post. Thing with ladybirds is they don't always stay where you want them to. That's why I like to have a few aphids early on in the year, because it attracts the ladybugs and they tend to stay. Yes, snip. That's how I deal with my slugs. And David at Bowtie Life is saying that he loves beer traps. Hopefully not once the slugs have drowned in them. They're disgusting then. And Rob very wisely would never waste beer on anything. And neither would Sean. Beer traps are really effective. They really do attract slugs, and you catch a lot, but just to clean you out is revolting. There. And Bill's saying, just see Avid hanging out, sharing a pint with slugs. Yeah, ooh, no. Only beer I keep around is Guinness, a bit fancy for slugs. The little dish will literally be mounded with dead slugs and snails in the morning. This is very true. And Sean, oh, we got that. Nope, it moved. Nope, where did that comment go? Where are we? Everything moved all of a sudden. Okay. I'm really sorry if I've missed anything there. It whizzed by and I missed a bit. There. That's interesting, Eddie. Never brewed beer, but I'm quite accomplished at making wine. I haven't made wine for many years, and I bought some demijohns with the idea that I would, and I haven't yet. And there. Bill saying, Eddie, you can do it, much less waiting 3 to 6 weeks versus 9 months over the year. Yes, beer is much quicker, but I don't really drink beer. I don't drink any alcohol anymore, to be fair. It's not that I'm alcohol free, it's just that I can't cope with the hangovers in the morning. I've got too much to do to not have a good morning. And yes, I clicked on that one earlier, but I didn't read it. So Jay's saying, vandalism and theft in the garden changes how you feel about people. It does indeed. It does indeed. And I was just going to mention this, so that was one of my banners. Next week is the ultimate guide to maximizing your harvest. Use it and freeze it and can it and all the other things you can do with it. So that's what we'll be talking about next week. So I'm going to wrap up in a minute. Just before I do that, I would like to remind you, please hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. I'm also going to pop my email up again. And again, this is available on the channel landing page. If you hit the more information and the blurb about the channel, my email is also on there if you ever want to find it. I am most most happy to welcome any emails, comments, feedback. Anybody who is interested in collaborating and appearing on my live would be very welcome too. And that's great. And I think that's it. I haven't got a show and tell this week. I haven't loaded anything. We had so many glitches last week. That's the other thing. I wanted to apologise for last week for the hang-ups and the odd glitch, because I'm not sure whether it was the internet or whether it was my computer being slow. But there were a few little bits and pieces that it buffered a few times, and I apologise for that technical glitch. I hope it was resolved this week. And I am going to be signing off in a minute, but I just wanted to remind you very quickly, same time next week, 8 p.m. UK time. It's an hour later for those people in the States because our clocks are out of sync. You guys had your clocks jump forward last Sunday. Ours don't jump forwards for another couple of weeks, so we will be an hour later than you would normally expect in your time zone. But check on the YouTube listings. It should tell you there what time I begin. And I hope to see you all there. And I would like to say thank you to everybody for showing up and making the chat so lively tonight. And a great big thank you to Jay Dixon for being an amazing show facilitator this week and every week, and for putting everybody's links up. After I sign off in about 10 seconds, if you have a chance, go visit some of the other people's channels that have been here. If you haven't already, show them some support, have a little look. That would be very much appreciated, and I'm sure that that will be reciprocated. So thank you all very much, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye now.